Patrick Mahomes. Rumor has it he's still complaining about that offsides call on Kadarius Toney.
I'm just upset about the greatness for Travis Kelce.
It's going to affect
feels like his Hall of Fame career.
It's going to affect his playoff and Hall of Fame legacy.
Were they going to show his reel? He's going to not show that great play. That's part of his greatness.
Because of a penalty? Really? A penalty? A play that isn't allowed to happen? And we're going to stop a play because a thing that isn't allowed to happen happened? I'm Patrick Mahomes. That's my auto. You've seen the commercial.
I was going to say that. Mahomes and my auto.
It's going to affect my autos. It's going to affect my autos Hall of Fame legacy.
Jake from State Farm would never call that penalty.
Okay. Sorry. Listen, thank you.
I'm going to pull up Mahomes' game log here because it's not been good. I'll say this. 15.6 points is for real with Patrick Mahomes. I was 1 year early on doubting him.
You were.
I was 1 year early. 2022, I was like, he's like going to be like QB8. Like he can't do what he did with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and this offense. He's not going to be able to do it without him. Well, he's currently the QB8, and I was 1 year early. This is his game log going back to week 8. 15, and this is 6-point passing touchdowns. This is probably even better than your here. I actually have him. I'm going to do this because I have him in a league where that is not 6-point passing touchdown, and I want to just get this fully correct here.
Please do.
In standard 4-point passing touchdown, week 8. Sorry, I'll go back. I'll start from now. 14.6, 14, 20.8, 17.8, 15.8, 7.6, 35, 18, 19, 15, 26, 22, 20. We got. We had the 3 games to start. They were really good. And then we had a handful of down games. We had 3 down games. And then we had the Chargers game with 35 points. And we were like, nah, he's got to be in the lineup. You can't take him out. 7.6, 15.8, 17.8, 20.8, 14, 14.6. I have Patrick Mahomes in a dynasty league. I'm in the playoffs in round 1. I do not have a round 1 bye. I'm starting Sam Howell over Patrick Mahomes in the fantasy football playoffs. I cannot trust Patrick Mahomes to be in my lineup. I can't do it. I know he's Mahomes. I get it. The track record says it. It's been 7 games of garbage. It's been 7 games of garbage from Patrick Mahomes for fantasy football. I can't trust him in my lineup for the fantasy playoffs. There's zero way I can trust him in my lineup. There are some leagues where I have to. And I'm scared. Like, it does not look good. I'm starting Sam Howell over Patrick Mahomes in round 1 of the fantasy playoffs. This sucks. He's been so bad this year for fantasy. It's been so bad. This is for real. 15.6 is for real. The offense is not scoring points like they have in the past. They're scoring a full touchdown less per game this season than they did last year. And what happened? They lost Juju Smith-Schuster. Is Juju Smith-Schuster that good? Juju for MVP, I guess. Confirmed. This is terrible from Mahomes for fantasy football. A guy we all drafted in the 2nd round. We drafted him in the 2nd round of the fantasy drafts this season. And he's averaging like 15 fantasy points over the last 2 months. He's been terrible. You cannot roll out Patrick Mahomes for the fantasy football playoffs. He has to be benched.
That was the point I was going to make that you just touched on. We drafted him in the 2nd round. It was 2nd round. When you're drafting a quarterback that early, and you and I have always been people that have said just wait to the end, because at the end, in the 9th and 10th round, there was Tua and Kirk Cousins for several weeks, and apparently Sam Howell just waiting with open arms. Brock Purdy was there. Jordan Love was there. Quarterbacks get you 20 points almost every week. when you're drafting a quarterback in the second round, you have to expect them to get 30 points. That's the thing. It's not because he's just a very good football player. In fantasy, you want 30 points. That's why at the same time, people were drafting Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. And I know Hurts just had his worst ever game in fantasy, but Hurts has been amazing all year. And Josh Allen is the number one scoring fantasy player this season. Mahomes is not just disappointing for his standards, but disappointing as a second round pick. It just feels like a second round bust because of where his ADP is. So
yeah,
I'll double down with you. Don't start Patrick Mahomes because of everything you just said. There's nothing else to add to it. You can't start Mahomes. And I'm just going to keep getting upset. There's nothing else to add, but it's so frustrating. I just want to add. You remember weeks ago during the Thursday night game, we were doing a must starts, risky starts, don't starts. It was the Chiefs, not the Thursday to open the season against the Lions, but another one. You said you must start Patrick Mahomes. Hear me out, because it's Mahomes, but there was already a conversation. Do you remember this? You had to say,
oh yeah,
you should still start Mahomes, because it was already conversation like 6 weeks into the season. Like, hey, you just keep going on Mahomes because of Mahomes. Like, I know it's not been great, but like genuinely, I need to tell people to start Mahomes. Now, here we are telling people with confidence to bench Patrick Mahomes. What a season.
Yeah. He has one top 10 weekly finish in the last 6 weeks.
Disgusting.
He has 5 on the year in 13 games. It's been terrible. It's been absolutely terrible. Retire.
Gross.
Just retire. That's pretty much where it should go.
Yeah.
You got the bag anyways, so there you go. You get the Omaha Productions. Omaha! You got the Omaha Productions deal
Omaha?
for the quarterback series, so there you go.